and then yeah, then I have like a few days time. Usually it's like Sunday and Monday is a time. So there is 2 days time to actually even try to search some kind of tracking field or something. And I have tried to organize it beforehand or ask at least some help if possible to do it once or twice. Yeah, that's the usual situation, but it could change because when I have been last time competing in the Europe, we used to have FMBD in May. And that was much better because that means that we were able to track in Finland at least 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, 2 or 3 weeks is a brilliant amount of time, you see, after winter break. And then then nowadays, when the competition is in April, that means that I would be like forced to drive there earlier. That I can do at least a few, like 1 week tracking before or 2 weeks. So something like that would force me to do that. But my experience generally about traveling is, and I have been always wondering about the Team USA and Canadians and Brazilians and all those people who have to come from far away distance, that how much more harder it is for the dogs because you are forced to take a rental car and flying, and that is stress for your dog. No matter how good dog you have, he has changed so much more in environment, and also the weather can change and so on. But then I've been thinking this, that at least with my experience, young dogs, when we have like really young dogs, like 1-year-old dogs or 2-year-old dogs, when I'm traveling first time with them to Europe, like just by car, ferries, different hotels, and I'm going to Czech or Germany or somewhere, Austria or whatever, my dogs get usually quite tired, especially the longer the trip goes. So if it after 2 weeks, for example, I can feel that my dogs are they are not so highly aroused when I take them out of the car or so on. So they are clearly a little more tired. When they are good dogs, of course they still want to work, but you can see like the peak, like that they are a little more tired than they are at home, for example. And then the older they come, they seem to not to stress about and getting tired so easily. So when they come like 3 years old or 4 years old, or if we compare it to 5, 6 years old dogs, that they seem to like cope better the traveling and the stress. And then there also seem to be some dogs that can cope better this kind of stressy environment, like a changing environment than other dogs. That some dogs just don't react so much. And then I know a lot of Finnish dog trainers, for example, who have told me that when they are traveling, their dogs just come more lazy because they are like getting just tired after 3-4 days, and eventually when the competition day is, their dogs are not that motivated, for example.
Kind of flat. No, I can't. I know.
Yeah.
That definitely can happen. Yeah. But that's also the strategies of the trainer. It's so hard to have this strategy to make it right because the strategies always change, right? It's not like, okay, I got it down, it worked for this trial, so I'm gonna do the same thing for the next trial. It's just not gonna go the same way. And you gotta be smart.
Different. Or you have another problem or something.
With our traveling, you know what is one of the kind of, at least, again, depends on the personality of that person, but like travel can get you very frustrated. I mean, your bag gets lost, or the connection gets delayed, or they don't have the right rent-a-car, or you realize that the Airbnb is like in a really bad area of town and you have nowhere to walk the dogs.
There's no place to walk with your dog.
Exactly.
There's no street dogs or whatever.
And all these little things, they get you frustrated. And now the dog is like, what is he or she upset so much about? And now, it kind of rolls into the dog, and the dog starts to be concerned too. The dog...
Rollback tayo!
Rollback daw. Naka-price rollback mode. Ang Birch Tree Adult Boost. Gatas na formulated para sa adults. Mas affordable na? Bili na!
Okay, something is really wrong here. I don't know what, but something is wrong.
I have noticed that it helps at least. I have always liked to walk when I go with my dog. So if I'm competing, so I do everything to my dog that my dogs would feel comfortable and relaxed because eventually it is, or the most important thing is the dog in that trip. So it's not that I get the best wine or if my luggages are lost or something. So I'm like, I'm very picky with this that my dogs don't hear me even talking with a nasty way or negative way to my friends. So I want to leave my dogs to the hotel and then I can, or Airbnb somewhere, and then I want to talk these kind of things like somewhere where my dogs are not listening to.
No, I mean, that's super cool.
And then another thing is that I think exactly what you mentioned about this when your whole time goes for this stupid driving around, and that is stressing because your dogs, first of all, they are in the car, they can hear you what you say and talk to someone and so on. And anyway, this kind of like sitting, even to a dog, sitting in the car box so long day, so many hours per day can be also stressful. So at home, my dogs are sleeping in the house, and I just drive to the training field and back short distances. And then I go often walking with them so they can sniff and just run freely in the forest. And what is really stressful for many dogs is that when you travel, you have not this possibility to keep them free. Because maybe it's like in the city, or maybe it's some kind of place where are a lot of other people, a lot of other dogs. So the first thing what I'm searching for is the place where I can drive and set my dog free, even some kind of like, road next to fields or forest or something. And I noticed this that it's also something that clearly makes my dog first of all more hungry. But if I think about tracking, so because they get fresh air, they can walk more, they can sniff, they can get the stress out of themselves just by trotting and walking. And so that is something important. What I try to do systematically when I'm traveling with my dogs. And if I compare, like if I'm just traveling with my dogs to train, like if I go just to train them, in Central Europe, I think I don't so much walk with them. I can be more like relaxed. I go training with them, and of course I walk before and after the training. That's for sure, like cooling them down and warming them up and so on. But then I can just bring them to hotel and so I want to go to restaurant and eat and something. So I think I'm a little bit more relaxed there, but maybe not so good for the dog. So kind of in the competition trips, I give more attention for the dog. The dog is like the king and the most important thing there.
That's crazy how. I mean, I think the same way, but I do it a little bit different. I try to make sure that I do whatever needs to be done for me to be in the right mind. Because if I'm not in the right mind, then for sure everything just goes bad. So.
Well, that's also a good tactic.
Yeah. So I mean, we're reaching the same goal. But
same
I'm like,
thing,
right?
same goal.
But I'm like, I know that if I cannot make my mind, like if I'm upset and I cannot get rid of it and whatever, I know it's just gonna go right to the dog and he'll be like, oh shit. So I try to pay attention more on me because if I feel good, they know. I mean, you can fake it as much as you want, but they pay attention. They know us so well that they know. I think they know most of the time if we are making a very good effort and when we are really, really enjoying,